Our ally will not allow us to inspect it. We've offered, many of us on this stage have offered to go there. We know prisons, unfortunately. I'd go look at Camp Liberty in a minute. So could they, and I imagine everybody else on this stage. And I could tell you in 2 minutes, is this an appropriate relocation center or is it a prison? I could make that determination in a half hour, an hour, if they just let me go there. But they won't do that. And the UN has to step in and has to play a meaningful role here. Whatever, we'll talk about designation and everybody else will, and we'll talk about some of the recent rumors, but whatever the truth or falsity of all of those other things, the lives of 3,300 human beings who were promised safety and security, who are entitled to it under every convention known to civilized society, their rights are now in jeopardy. And the United States of America and the UN, and particularly the United States, should be in a leadership role, yelling and screaming and pounding the table about this. Of course, we have to look at the bigger picture, too. They would like to see the overthrow of the Ayatollah and of Ahmadinejad. Okay. Then they also stand for a non-nuclear Iran. Iran without a nuclear weapon. Then they stand for a secular Iran. And the organization is headed by a woman. My goodness, what a great symbolism for the Middle East. And if I need any further persuasion, the United Kingdom and the European Union have lifted the designation of this group as a terrorist group as either being incorrect or no longer correct. So we're left with only one other country now that agrees with us, Iran. There's something wrong with this picture, isn't there? And I guess there are different reasons, but I'm going to tell you what I think my reason is. I believe that the president and this administration still believe they can talk to Iran. I believe they still harbor the very dangerous illusion that people used to harbor in the build-up to the Second World War, that you can talk to these people, you can charm them, you can negotiate with them, you can be reasonable with them. Some people find it impossible to realize that you can't project onto other people the way you look at the world and the way you were brought up and the values that you have. Mr. President, I would no longer write any more letters to the Ayatollah. I can't imagine how ridiculous it must be to the people in Iran when they get a Dear Ayatollah letter from you. What a joke. If we need any other indication, all of the other attempts with the Dear Ayatollah and the Dear Ahmadinejad letters, I don't know exactly how they're addressed, the indication has been very, very clear. Go to hell. Right? So, let's just grow up and realize they don't want to talk to us. And the more we appear to be begging them to talk to us, the more we convince them that we're weak. The more we convince them they can take advantage of us. The more we convince them that they can push us around. Haven't we learned that? It's 100 years of making that mistake. It's several wars of making that mistake. Evil people understand only one thing. Bullies understand only one thing. Strength. Resolute, determined, powerful strength. That backs them off. Ahmadinejad in particular, but the Ayatollah as well, have told us they want to destroy Israel. They threaten to block the Gulf of Hormuz. They have participated in killing many Americans, including during the war in Iraq. They are by far, without any doubt and without any contradiction, the biggest state sponsor of Islamic extremist terrorism in the world that has accomplished the killing of Americans and many other people and put us under threat right now. Let's take them at their word. Why are we having trouble believing they may actually believe these things and are doing these things? And why in the world would we even consider the possibility that this world could be safe if they had nuclear weapons. This is not the old Soviet Union or China or the United States. Well, there is every reason to believe